This is
Okay.
Bruce Nelson, and he plays Detective Hostetler in Raising Buchanan, and
Yes.
I am Amanda Melby, and I play Ruth in Raising Buchanan. And we are back here on Facebook Live to talk acting and the movie and all that good stuff. So thanks for joining me today,
Thanks
Bruce.
for having me. It's always exciting to talk about projects since everybody's locked down. It's a good time to try to get out into the world somehow.
Yeah, right. So, okay, so we were just chit-chatting. I think it probably made it into the live post, but you said you weighed 202 pounds in that picture.
Yes. You can
And
see it in my face.
yeah,
You can see it in my face. Yeah.
I never would have guessed that. But looking at you now, I mean, I haven't seen you in person in a long time, so I can see the difference for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what? I saw a photo of myself and I didn't know it was me. I was like, God, that guy's a little thick. I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's me. I'm like, oh my God, got to fix this.
So is this the normal you? This
This is I typically like 178, 180. That's what
yeah.
I typically weigh. You know,
Yeah.
I was caring for my mom and stuff, and so I really wasn't doing my kind of thing. And it didn't take long. You know, like a month, and I was like back to my regular weight. So.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes, I'm glad.
And it's good that you don't have the COVID, 19, the extra 19 pounds or 15 pounds that people seem to be talking about.
Yeah, staying in. I'm working out today every morning. I get out about 6 o'clock, get on my bike, I like run and, staying fit, trying to
good.
get ready for the season.
I have not been doing a tremendous amount of exercise myself. I will tell you that much. But we've been walking a lot around the neighborhood. I've never seen so many people in my neighborhood. Right? They're like people have just come out and they're walking and riding bikes, and it's been really nice to see that there's people that live here.
Yeah, they come out. They come out early. They come out in the middle of the day. I mean, it's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Sometimes I'm like, it's kind of hot out here, but they're out there.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta figure some kind of fitness thing. I'm not ready to go back to the gym yet.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. My gym opened up. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give them about 3 weeks.
Ours opens tomorrow. So I'm debating. I'm discussing and thinking, and we'll see. So anyway, let's talk about the movie, shall we?
Talk about the movie. I was thinking about the movie when you first did the first read through, which was, some time back. And I read like 4 different characters in there because we just needed to read stuff. And we were talking about, well, what next? And you were like, well, we got to figure out how to get the money to make this thing. It's a great script. It's funny. Let's, so I kept crossing my fingers, and then you guys gave me a call. I was like, oh, we're on. Let's do this. This is great.
Bruce had you in mind for this part. I don't know if you know that. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I read like 4 or 5 different parts just so we could hear it. So we could.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so we could hear it at the studio.
Okay.
We had a bunch of actors, and he said, well, just read these so we can hear them. Because you got to go through that process. It's always different when the actors say the lines. So.
There, look what I found.
There you go.
See, this was in 2013.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, look at that. There's Kane, Black, and Steve Briscoe, and you, and Bruce with less gray hair, and there's you over in the corner there.
That's great. You kept that picture. That's so funny.
I know. Look at me, how organized I am. I just looked in the photos thing, and then I had a folder called Table Read, and there you were.
That's great. Well, that was that was great. Let's get it done. So
yeah.
Cool.
I forgot about
Well, first
that.
let me say, everybody got to go see the movie because Amanda's so funny. She's brilliant in the movie. She did a great job. You got to go see her. Even if you don't see me, just go and see her because she's really funny and really works. So let me just tell people right now, don't worry, just go and see it because you did a great job.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I mean, I always think it's so it's so great when the person that Bruce had in mind ends up actually getting the part, right?
Oh,
Because we still made you, did we make you audition?
I
think
came
we,
and read. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah,
did
you did.
I just would. I did totally over the top
You did?
stuff for yes, I totally went over the top. Nothing that really I was going to use
Uh-huh.
as an actor, because I was in when he did his first film, Another Beast Incorporated, and so that's where I met you.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember. That's where I met you. You guys were there, you and your friend Jennifer, and I thought you were two little hotties. I was like, look at these two running around here. It was kind of cool. And then I had quite a few days on there, but I didn't see you guys much after that.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I I'd worked with Bruce. And when we were doing some of the scenes, we would finish and he would go, oh, wow, that's an interesting take on that line. When I wrote that line, I didn't hear that like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, I think we're talking about testicular scratching or whatever. I did a kind of a twist thing with that. And he went, oh, wow, that was really cool. So yeah, so that's when we met, and then we just sort of kept in touch. And then I came to the studio and did, I think I did a voiceover workshop you had.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, at Burf.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've been in my studio quite a few times for lots of different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The table read was interesting. I mean, the script was a lot longer at that point, and there were a couple different plot things, and the ending was a little bit different. Actually, Hostetler's scene, that whole scene in the sheriff's office at the very end of after the donut shop scene, that scene changed a lot from the table read to what it is now in the finished film. So yeah, you had some real fun stuff to play with.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun. It was fun to be Arizona filmmakers. That's always cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching Nether Beast yesterday after not watching for years, and I was like, you know what? That was good writing. I don't know why they didn't do as well as it should have, but you get better. This one is great. This one was done well for him. So, he's got to keep writing,
Mm-hmm.
keep pushing it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I only had a couple days on the film, but everybody was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve I'd worked with before.
Oh.
With him and Paul, we did a takeoff on Sam Jackson, Snakes in a Plane thing. It was so stupid, but it was fun. Steve, we did that. So I knew Steve from there.
Okay.
A lot of people on set I had known from other things. So, but it was great to see Arizona people doing things, and some really good cast. The cast was really good. Everybody was really supportive.
Mm-hmm.
Makeup crew, costume people, they were really great. So I had a good time. I'm glad you guys called me.
We were too. I think I shared this with one of the other during one of the other conversations, but Bruce had all these actors in mind, and a lot of them were at the table read when we did it, when he was writing the parts. He had a lot of people that he wanted to call in. You were one, and Kane was one, and Laura Durant was one, and I said, Bruce, we got to have auditions. There's a lot more actors out here that you don't know, right? That you want to meet, and you might want to see what they can bring to the table. And we did see so many wonderful actors, but I'll tell you, the people that he had in mind for those parts got those parts because so Kane, you, Laura, right? Because they just you included just ended up bringing exactly what he wanted, and he was right. He was right about everybody, which was great, but we had to see it. And at least for me, like I wanted him to see a lot of actors too, and he did. And we found a lot of great actors from the auditions too, which was really cool.
For future projects, when you're looking at other things, you kind of go, for actors to come in and read for something is always a good opportunity, even if you don't get the part, because then, they see you and maybe next time they'll call you or something else. So it was a fun shoot. I know you guys were going crazy trying to pull it all together. Wearing so many hats, that's always tough.
Fortunately, I didn't have to wear I didn't have to wear all my hats at the same time. And we had a great you know, support team and other people to do jobs, which worked out really well for us. So yeah. Now you are also a filmmaker.
Yes, trying to be. Yes, I'm working on a couple of projects right now. I have a book about veterans from my neighborhood, which will come out this summer. It's called Veterans from My Neighborhood. It's called Veterans of Washington Escobedo. We'll probably release the book July, August. And I'm making a documentary. I'm producing a documentary. Hopefully we'll start submitting it in September to festivals.
Okay.
We've been working on that for a couple of years. The challenge with that is, you know, a lot of African-American veterans and Latino veterans, there's not a lot of information about them. So researching and trying to find it is a real challenge, you know, trying to find everything. So, but yeah, I've been working on that for a little bit. And then I was a guest.
So hold on. So the people that are in the subjects of the movie are people you know or people you had to find?
They were people from my neighborhood. I looked at just my neighborhood in Mesa. It was the once segregated community known as Washington Park. Mm-hmm. And so all the veterans in the film at one point lived there. We found 2 guys that were in the Civil War that lived in Mesa. I mean, they're dead now, but they lived in Mesa at one point.
Wow.
Wow. We found about 4 or 5 guys from World War I, a lot of guys from World War II. You know, some amazing stories. I mean, these guys, and you just don't hear about them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that was just researching and finding information about them, and then trying to find the stock footage with African Americans or Latinos, and it was kind of challenging. But yeah, it's good. The book should be interesting. Has some stuff in it that the movie doesn't.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that.
That's a big undertaking.
Yeah, you know, it started as an exhibit, and then I thought, well, you know what? So what I did is I found some of the families, some of the grandchildren, some of the sons. You know, most of it is just me finding their information and telling their stories, because all of them have passed away except for a few. We did get Mr. Boyd, who will be 97 now. And he was great, you know.
Wow.
Got to interview him. And then we got to interview Manuel Mendoza's wife, and he would be about 97 or 98. If he was alive, he passed away. But she's still alive, and she's around 97.
Wow.
So yeah, it was. So that I've been working on, which was kind of cool. And
first, let me just say, I think that is really cool to tell their stories, especially if 97 years old and didn't really get a chance to tell his story yet.
Yeah.
You know, good for you for telling his story.
Yeah, we found him, and you know, it was just amazing. I mean, and it's interesting in the research, I found my great-grandfather was a Buffalo soldier. I had no idea.
Really?
Yeah, I had a picture, and I'd asked my mom, but she couldn't remember. And I asked her sister, and she told me right away his name was George Washington Davis. He was a Buffalo soldier. He was in Texas. He was in the Civil War. He was born in 1835. And I was like, what? She told me his mom's name. His name was Pleasant Polk. And so I started doing the research, and I found his death certificate, and there his mom's name was on it, Pleasant Polk. I was like, that's insane. Wow. And he's buried in Texas. So I'm like, okay. So I made a lot of discoveries during that time.
So how does that change you as a person? What does that?
You know, it gives me a little more swagger when I walk. Like, yeah, my great-grandfather was a Buffalo soldier. I mean, to have a photograph of him, and we have one, that was just like, and I remember I shared it with some of the family members and some of my nieces and nephews. They were like, well, do you have a better photo of him? I said, that photo is over 100 years old. Okay.
We're lucky we have the one.
It didn't have a phone camera, you know, 1867. They didn't like, oh, you couldn't post it on Twitter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely impacted me in a way. You know, my dad was in World War II, you know, he never talked about that. And those guys just don't. You know, they don't talk about those things. But you see the picture back there of you and Netherbeast, right?
Yeah. I think that's, I don't remember who else is in that too. I mean, Jennifer, boy, you'd have to like scroll way through my Facebook to find that picture, because that's, it's probably up there somewhere, that original picture.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
And the other girl, she's got her face like cheese grated.
Yeah, there was some sort of special effect makeup she had going on there. And then Jennifer and I are just like in the 70s or the 80s or something, like bopping around like nothing's going on.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
they had a lot of fun wigs on that shoot. So we got to wear some really fun
You
wigs.
had fun wigs in
Yeah.
well in this next one, you
Yeah.
know. So wigs are. I guess that's your thing now, huh?
Me? Oh,
They,
well, yeah, I guess I do wear a wig in this one. Yeah. I didn't think about it that way. You know, the funny thing about talking about history in our families, the wig that I wore is actually my mom's wig. Yeah,
oh,
she passed away, but this was a wig that she
oh,
had like from the 70s or something when she wore wigs. Like it was a thing to wear wigs. And I don't even remember how I ended up getting it, but it's this blonde wig. And I ended up just like toting it around from apartment to apartment for all these years. And so then when we were talking about, budgets and makeup and wigs and all that kind of stuff, when we were talking about Buchanan, we're like, well, let's try and find a guy that has hair. So we don't have to wig him, right? And then when we were talking about the wig for me, I'm like, I have a wig. Can't we just use that? And they're like, well, let's see it. So yeah.
it
So
worked. It worked really well. It was
it
fun.
worked, yeah. And Kay Gray, our hair and makeup person, made it look amazing. It looked way better than I could have ever made it look.
That's great. You kept it all these years.
I know. And the one that Kathy wore was also my wig. I don't remember. I bought that when I lived in LA for I don't remember why, for some shoot or something. It's not a very good wig, but it served its purpose in this movie. So just kind of one of those funny things where you end up using things that you have, and in my case, honoring my mom, being able to bring a little part of her into the set with me.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Really, really nice. So.
I know. So you were saying you were going to work on, there was another project that you were starting to tell me about, and I interrupted you.
I was really fortunate. The Mesa Historical Museum, I was a guest curator, and I created an exhibit. It was called Hallelujah Hats. It was celebrating the churches from the once segregated community in Mesa through the fashion of women of the time. And so it opened up in February, and it had purses, gloves, shoes, jewelry, and of course hats.
Oh, how
And,
cool.
and everything that was on display belonged to my mom. She had over
Really?
60 hats, over 60 hats, over 100 pairs of shoes, purses, gloves, jewelry. She had the little gloves with the little clip that fit around the glove and you hang it around your purse. So the exhibit opened up in February, and you see in the back, I made a book as well, a coffee table book about it, called Hallelujah Hats. It's got a little history in it, so that was a fun project. Then, COVID hit,
Yeah.
so the museum closed, and I was like,
Is everything still there? Did you get it back?
the museum closed, I guess, middle of March when the COVID really hit.
Yeah.
And so I just pulled the exhibit down about 2 or 3 days ago. It was originally going to stay open until July, but they're not going to open back up until September. And so, but that was really, really a great opportunity, to be guest curator. And we had some nice turnouts for it. Channel 15 came out, did a nice story about the show for Black History Month and everything. So that was really cool. So that was a project I've been working on since this thing has been getting so much play. It's how many festivals did you end up getting into?
That's a great question. I don't remember. Probably 15 or so, 15, 16, maybe more.
I think there was more than that.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of lost track, or I never really count. Well, first of all, I'm an actor. My head doesn't hold numbers, so I'm not very good at remembering things like that. Anyway, second of all, there were a number of festivals that we got into, but then we didn't screen, and so then I was like, well, do those count? Do they not count? I don't know. you know, or we won an award but didn't screen, or won something but weren't a selection. So then it just got a little bit like grayscale. You know, I wasn't really sure how to count some of those. So.
But it did have great success.
Oh yeah.
Really did have great success. So.
Yeah, I mean, we've had, you know, people always, it's funny because people look at it and they're like, oh, you got into so many festivals, and we did. And listen, that is, I'm proud of that we did get into all those festivals, because it's really hard to get into festivals, but as a feature film anyway. But I tell you what, we got rejected from a ton. We got rejected from so many festivals. We really, really did. So it was, yeah, there were quite a bit that we that we didn't get
I know
into.
how you feel. I have
Yeah.
I had my my last film I did, and it was a documentary called Gospel Radio Man, and it got into about 14 festivals, but you know, there were some that I just knew I was going to get in. We didn't get in. And then I'd get emails saying you're in the final countdown, and then we wouldn't get in. And I was like, ah. So I know what you mean. I mean, but out of the country too. I got some out of the country with it. So, and it's still making its round. We're getting ready to pump it out pretty soon for people to see. I had a little distributor looking at it. It's a short. It's about 28 minutes.
Oh, good. That's pretty long for a short.
Yeah, it was it was originally a pilot for a TV series.
Okay.
And PBS was interested in it, but PBS, you have to raise your own money to do the TV series. I was like, okay, I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I think, you know, yeah, somebody asked me last night, you know, if you're going to make something else again, would you go for a series, or would you make another film? And I said, well, nobody's going to give me money to make a series. I would have to raise the money to do that myself. And so, no, I'm not going to do that, because that seems completely overwhelming to try to, you know, I think the series, they come to you eventually. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what you hope. For PBS, you know, they're kind of, and local, it's kind of different. Nationally or other states, it's a little different. Here in Arizona, you know, they kind of said, well, they really like the premise.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, you know, if you can make more, we'll air it. We think it could be really well. I'm going, well, okay, so we're still talking. It still may happen.
Mm-hmm.
Got some people said, you know what, we could sponsor one episode.
Mm-hmm.
The series was called Indigo Living.
Okay.
And so, sort of reflecting, looking at the Black community, heroes in the Black community that you never hear about.
That
you know,
sounds like something that should be done.
Yeah, it was cool. Like the episode we did was about Brother Larkins, who was the DJ that played gospel music. He started back in 1964. He's still alive. He's 98 now. And he played gospel music here in Arizona. And the show it was on AM first.
Okay.
And then finally switched over to FM. And just amazing little story about him coming from Oklahoma. He came from a little black town in Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And playing gospel music and went all the way to California and stuff. We sort of just told his story. He was in World War II. Mm-hmm. His wife came here. He worked for the city. So it's finding those little gems in Phoenix that people don't really know about, which is kind of cool.
So is your inspiration more telling people stories, or now we've got another veteran here, or is there some other tie to veteran stories specifically?
This one was really about him being a African-American DJ, you know, in the 60s. He was the first one that I know of on the air. There were some others, but he was the first. And so that was kind of an interesting story. And he was playing gospel. He played old school gospel. And he just really stuck to that. And it worked really well for him. So, and there are other interesting little stories around Phoenix of people doing things that we wanted to talk about. One of the first Black barbershops. I remember going there as a kid, and you'd see like Meadowlark Lemon in there, or you'd see some of the actors, the Black actors would come they would go, it's over on Jefferson.
Okay.
Barbershop. And I thought, God, we should tell this guy's story. You know, he remembers the civil rights movement when the leaders would come and they would meet at the barbershop. Esquire Barbershop. I mean, that's where a lot of discussion took place and stuff. So the idea was to tell these stories, these positive stories. Always looking for something new. You know how it is.
Yeah, but we got to get other people to watch those for you, right? Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
where are they? Are they out somewhere? Or are they posted anywhere?
Gospel Radio Man is on the Hollywood Black Resource Center.
Okay.
They just picked it up, and I'll send you that link. And then I'm gonna pop it on Vimeo, and pretty soon. We
Okay.
just finished the film festival circuit. I just stopped submitting it. I'm like, okay, we saturated that, so now, and with the Hollywood Black Resource Center, you do a subscription, and they have films on there. So now I'm ready to get it out there. So I'll do a Vimeo release.
Okay.
And maybe iTunes. I kind of see. But I'll let you know.
Okay.
You know
Yeah.
This is doing great. I'm glad this is doing really well. How are sales going? You did the pre-sales, gave away some goodies. I didn't buy mine to get the goodies. I just forgot. Anyway.
I'll send you something. We're actually going to do another contest. I had planned on doing it earlier, and honestly, I just got too busy. But we're going to do another contest. We've got autographed DVDs and posters and Blu-rays and a bunch of fun stuff to give away. So that will probably start tomorrow and run through the end of June. So, what happened is we had all of these water bottle stickers and mints because we were supposed to go to New Jersey for the festival, and then the Phoenix Film Festival, and then also a festival in Houston, the USA World Fest. So I had all this swag that I had already purchased for those festivals, and then of course one went to online and then the other two got postponed, and so I'm like, what am I going to do with all this swag? So the idea of giving it away just came from the fact that, like, how do we encourage people to pre-order the film? And it just was a nice way for me to get, the swag out to people and not be stuck in my closet here. It's not going to do any good in the closet. But anyway, so we are going to do another contest. So it's about, sharing on social media, sharing the posts and that sort of thing. So now that I've committed to it, I will have it up tomorrow.
Well, Mesa has a film festival. This year will be the second year. And so the guy that runs it, Indian, he runs it. He's out of New York. So I'm going to convince him to do a screening. His festival's in the fall. It was going to be in June, and then he pushed it. So it's going to be in the fall. So I'd love for the film to come to my little hometown. That would be kind of cool.
Your little hometown is 20 minutes away. Is that where you grew up, in Mesa?
I grew up in Mesa, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hometown guy, right here.
So how did you become an actor then?
In high school, I did comedy, and I was an athlete. I was on the track team and basketball team, gymnastic team. And I used to do the morning announcements. Bill Cosby kids. Right over. I used to do that for the announcements. And I started doing comedy. And I thought, okay, this could be interesting. And then I got into drama class and did well. Then I did one play. And so I thought, I'll be an actor, man. And then I found this wonderful book about Burt Williams. And I read that. And one day my brother brought home this collection of books on how to be a vaudeville performer. It's like this whole course. And I read all that. I thought, oh, wow. So that kind of kicked me into it, kind of do that. And then I danced, I was a dancer for a long time.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I danced with two companies in LA. I danced with a company in Toronto. I studied Alvin Ailey Dance Theater. That was my.
Seriously?
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yeah, it was in LA. I danced with Lula Washington Dance Theater, Jazz Antigua. I lived in Toronto for a long time. I was like trying to be the triple threat. Singer, dancer, actor, a la Ben Vereen kind of guy,
Oh yeah. So you're Equity, right? Actors Equity?
Yes. Yeah. I all the unions. I think about my.
How did you get your card? How did you get your equity card?
I got my Canadian equity card when I was living there.
Okay.
Yes, we're doing a show. I was doing a mime because I'm one of those mime guys. Oh my God.
Okay, no wonder you and Bruce are friends.
Yes, I used to on the street. The people I was one of those guys. Always a mime. People hate mimes, but because when I anyway, so because I was living here in Phoenix, I was with a little mime troupe at Phoenix Theater,
Okay.
and we did mime shows and stuff. And so I'd gotten hired in Toronto, and this theater director producer really liked me, so he produced a mime show, and that's how I got my card.
So you got your equity card, your Canadian equity card, doing a mime show.
Mime show, one-man mime show.
Okay, is there any footage of that? Any video of that somewhere?
No, there's photos. I think I have photos, but
Okay.
so then when I moved back to the States, in those days, God, I'm showing my age now, you could get grandfathered in or sistered into the other union. So when I came back in Arizona Theater Company, was my first time working when I came back from Toronto. And so when I called them, they go, well, you have to join. It's our sister union. And so, that was the beginning. And then from there, I got into SAG and stuff.
Yeah.
But I was really dancing and singing. And I remember my first job was a dancer for the Miss Arizona pageant.
Okay.
I was a dancer. There was the choreographer out of LA. It was a 3-week gig. We had a week and a half of rehearsal, and then we had a week of performances, and then they showed it on live. And the dancers were always rehearsing.
Uh-huh.
Always rehearsing. Never enough time. People didn't want to give the stage to. And I was like, this is ridiculous. We need it. And then I watched them. The actors, they love. The singers, I said, you know what? I'm an actor. I'm this dancing thing.
That's too much work.
Yeah, I can talk. I can speak. I can say lines. So I did that. And after that's okay. I'll be an actor first.
Uh-huh.
An actor who can sing and dance.
Everything I've ever seen you in has been like a straight play or something. I don't think I've ever seen you in a musical.
Yes, I was in My Fair Lady at Arizona Theater Company.
Huh.
The Robber Bridegroom.
Okay.
At Arizona Theater Company. I did a chorus line.
Mm-hmm.
Then I did up along the coast, the West Coast in California, Sacramento Theater Company, San Diego Theater Company, La Jolla, all up and down.
Yeah.
Did shows in there. Yeah, I was in Toronto. I did musicals and stuff, cabaret shows, everything. But yeah, I was a big song and dance guy.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
All right. Are you going to do another one when theater comes back? Are you going to? Is there always a part that you've always wanted to do in musical theater?
No, not really.
No?
I was fortunate. Yeah, I was fortunate in Toronto. Everything I did there was original.
Oh.
It was new shows. It was a
Okay.
new.
Yeah.
I remember doing a summer stock show in North Hatley, which is in between Montreal and Quebec City. It's a little small town, English French town. And I remember working there. That was kind of interesting. It was a brand new show though. It was called The Return of the Revenge of the Mummy's Curse. It was a comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, but I played Booker, somebody, forgot, from this kid from New York, but I also played the mummy. Okay. Everybody played the mummy, but I played the main mummy because I had the song and dance that he did. So, in Toronto, I always did original shows. So then when the show worked, when people wanted to do it, I was the type. They would cast it, well, we want a Bruce Nelson type. And I thought that was strange because here, when you do musicals, they want a Ben Vereen type.
Yeah.
That's the.
That's a good thing to be the Bruce Nelson type. We need a Bruce Nelson type for this. How about we just get Bruce Nelson?
So now coming back, I was like, I was used to doing that. So then we started doing musicals that had already been done. I was a little disappointed because, okay, I got to fit into this type now, as opposed to, me, like I remember I worked with the Children's Theater Company, and we did a production of Jack and the Beanstalk, and I played Jack,
Mm-hmm.
and we had original music. So the composer would come in, and he would say, "Okay, let's just sing." Say, "Oh God, you sound like this," and then they would go away and write songs based around us. What we could do. And so that would get into the show. He goes, "You know what? Do you do gospel?" I go, "Yeah, I do gospel." So I sang him a gospel song. He was, "Okay, great. When Jack climbs up the beanstalk, it's going to be a gospel song." And I'd sing some of the song, and he'd write that based on that. So it was kind of different coming back, you know, trying to fit into that mold of what had been produced. So
What a great first act for your career, Bruce.
isn't
I
that
mean,
crazy?
to create and originate parts and have people write things for you. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, I was in Toronto. I had a great time. I lived there for 5 years,
Okay.
and I didn't have a day job ever.
Yeah. Wow.
There was some slim picking days. Now, don't get me wrong. I did some crazy jobs, but I was a mime in the window at Sears and Roebuck when they do. I was in the window doing the mannequin thing. It was paying like $100 an hour. So, I was like,
What?
"Hey, I'll do it."
Okay,
Yeah, I was like, "Yeah,
stop
I'll do
laughing
3."
right now. I'm gonna stop laughing. Props to that. I mean, $100 an hour.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then I used to be a mime at like a restaurant. I was the restaurant mime, and I would do lunch from 11 to 2. And I'd get lunch, and I made like $300, I think it was, for the afternoon. So,
Wow. You were rolling for a
isn't that
month.
insane? Yeah. So, well, yeah. So hopefully we can do more stuff. Though, what are we gonna do next?
I don't know. I'm working on stuff with Bruce. I'm waiting to actually we need to have we owe each other a conversation. So hopefully this week. I want to see him in person. It's been I haven't really seen anybody. So we've been doing this, right, and talking on the phone and stuff, but um I got to get him to sign a bunch of stuff anyway, autograph a bunch of this stuff. So he's got a couple of ideas he wants to throw my way and see what's going to stick. So we'll see. So to be determined. I don't know. Okay, so I'm just going to remind people of who you are and what your part is in raising.
Oh, look at it! Look at this! You can see the weight in my face. Oh my God!
I can see it now when I'm looking at you, here on Zoom too. But so this is you and Kathy Shim in the back of Lilac Bakery, which closed. Isn't that sad? They went out of business.
Oh.
Yeah, they closed before, right when they had to close the restaurants, and they're not going to open back up, which is such a shame. They were really good to us.
Yeah, I really liked them. They were
I
nice
know
people.
they're really, really good people too. So anyway, this is you playing Detective Hostetler.
That's great.
Coming into the donut shop there, and wondering what the heck people are doing in the back of a donut shop.
Coming in trying to take control. What the heck is going on?
It's really funny too, because when we watch that scene, there's 5 of us in that scene? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 or 6, depending.
Yeah.
And
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
that was one of those scenes that was really funny written, right? Like it was just really funny how it played out. And that was one of those scenes that we had to edit a couple of times to really get the humor, the time exactly right, and the right shots. And,
Right.
And I'm really happy with how it turned out, because it is funny.
Yeah, well, it was. That was kind of summing it all up. It's like,
Yeah.
what the idiot's doing?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So the movie is Raising Buchanan, and if you haven't seen it yet, you should see it. It's out on Amazon Prime Video and iTunes and Google Play and DVD and Blu-ray and a whole bunch of other places. And I am happy to say now, hang on, that we did get some extras on the DVD and the Blu-ray now too. So the Blu-ray and the DVD, and this is a terrible idea here. I can't really, we've got some reflections, but anyway, we've got some bonus scenes. We've got a behind the scenes. on the DVD and the Blu-ray now. So that's exciting.
Oh, nice.
I
That's
know.
great.
Yeah, so a little featurette and some extended scenes. We had to cut a couple things down, but so they're on the bonus scenes now, which is
So you can stream it on Amazon Prime, or you can download it or get a DVD on Amazon
Yep.
Prime.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, 3 ways. That's great.
So,
And then the Blu-ray's on iTunes as well, right?
no, you can only get the DVD and the Blu-ray through Amazon, like the storefront, and I
Okay.
think Target are the only places that you can actually buy the DVD and the
Okay.
Blu-ray, the physical copies of them. But you can buy the digital copy on iTunes or Amazon, or actually there's a whole bunch of platforms that you can also buy them on, like Fandango now and Vudu. And yeah, Brett Kalmbach, our DP, said he always watches everything on Vudu. And I was like, I didn't even know what Vudu was before this, but I do now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you should show it at the drive-in movie theaters, since people go. That's becoming a thing now.
I know. We could do that.
Yeah, we have one here in Mesa that's been pretty good. You know, I'm gonna call them and say, you know what, we should, because they want family movies, and it's a family movie. It's a family-friendly, fun movie.
Other than the cursing, but yes, for some families.
Yeah, well, it's not bad. It's
Yeah.
not like
No, I know.
they're nuts, is what it is. They're twisted people.
Yeah. So Joe Gruberman, one of our producers, is watching, and he says, Bruce Nelson is our local Christian Bale, making physical transformations for his craft. That's you.
That's interesting.
Gaining weight, losing weight. Yeah. Dancing.
Yeah.
I think we need to get you a part that offers up some of your other special skills that I didn't know you had.
Yeah. No, song and dance man. Yeah.
Song and dance man, indeed.
Yeah,
Well,
so.
listen, when you get when your documentaries are available for people to watch, let me know and I'll share them on our page for sure, because people need to watch those.
Great. Yeah, I'm excited about that. And I'm going to talk to the promoter for the Mesa Film Festival, and we have, like I said, we have a drive-in movie theater in Mesa. People have been going.
Wow.
That would be, because you just drive up in your car.
Yep.
You know, I think they've got it where you use your phone as a speaker or something.
Wow.
So yeah, that would be fun to show it. So yeah, I'll work on that on my end. So
all right.
This is great. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to one of the other actors.
Oh my gosh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for joining me and saying yes. And it's nice to see you, even though I can't see you in person. It feels like at least it's in person, even though it's not, because it's live, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for joining me. And you're so good in the film. And I think that people, when we get towards the end, you get to see Bruce in the film. So you got to watch all the way through.
It's a fun scene. It's a fun scene.
It is a fun scene. It is a fun scene. So thank you for joining me, Bruce. And thanks everybody for watching and tuning in. And next weekend, we'll have more of these with some other cast and crew, and I'll put those up and announce them as soon as I get everything set and the time set. But until then, have a great Sunday afternoon, everybody.
Yes, it's hot. Stay inside. Go watch the movie. Stream the movie. It's hot out there. You don't want to go out. Thank you so much. I will talk to you soon. Peace out.